Okay, so this is the format for the chapter 3, particularly for the basic research. Ang pagkakaiba lang naman ng chapter 4 is the developmental research for the basic research is the format in terms of the chapter 4. Pero pagdating dito, wala naman siyang masyadong pinagkaiba. Just for the discussion, what type of research design are you going to use, the different sources of data, population, etc. So, ito, for the chapter 3, yan, kopyahin ko lang, then, yan. Chapter 3, make sure na double space tayo, ha? Yan, 0 dapat yan, hindi siya 12, hindi siya 18. 0. So, double space, chapter 3, tapos dito, you have to put an introductory statement. So, this section presents the different process and methodologies in line with kung ano yung topic ninyo. Tapos this includes, yan, yung ito mga to, ano nyo na kaagad yan. Isulat nyo lang naman siya, okay? At tapos ito, lahat nakalagay dyan. Design, sources of data, population of the study, research instrument, validity and reliability, data gathering procedures, yan, okay? So, before you can move on dito sa validity of your instrument, make sure na napapirmahan nyo na yung mga letters, ha? Anyways, ang mga letters, meron tayong sample doon sa G Drive na, doon sa code, sa G Drive na makukuha nyo kay Ma'am Dana na binigay niya sa inyo yung, anong tawag doon? QR code. Okay? So, dito sa research design, you just explain what are the different design that you're going to use. Tandaan ninyo that there's a difference between design and methodology. The type of design na meron tayo is 4. 1, qualitative design, research design. Quantitative research design, mixed method, research design, and the developmental research design. Each of these design, may mga kanya-kanyang types of design or approaches kasi magkaiba yung dalawa. Meron tayong tinatawag na research design. Ito yon. Ang pangalawa dyan is you have to discuss what type of research method are you going to adapt. For example, dito sa quantitative, anyways, I have all the PPTs or the PowerPoints uploaded in your class drive or the LMS natin, the class file. I discuss the different types of design. Like for example, itong si quantitative, mayroon tayong research method na descriptive, cross-sectional, experimental, andyan din yung quasi, dalawa to quasi and full experimental or true experimental, tsaka quasi experimental, dalawa yan. Tapos yung isa is correlational. Correlational research method. So these are the different approaches or types under that type of research design. Sa qualitative naman, meron tayong most common na ginagamit is the sequential Actually, dalawa yan. Exploratory and explanatory. Dito sa explanatory. Dito sa exploratory, meron tayong sequential, and convergent. Ganon din kay explanatory. May sequential, may convergent. Third type is embedded and triangulation. Yan, yun yung mga, yan, tatandaan kung ano yun. So, type niya yan. Type of, or research method or approaches under qualitative research design. Sorry. Dito pala yan. Sa mixed method pala yung diniscuss ko. Yan, sa mixed method yon. Okay? Ang qualitative natin, meron tayong case study, phenomenological approach, ano pa ba? Ethnography, ano pa? Narrative analysis, case study, ano pa ba? Naalala ko lang. Case study, most common to ha, yung most common na ginagamit. Ethnography, narrative. Dito, mayroon tayong descriptive analysis, which is, itong descriptive na to, dati, ang descriptive alone is nasa quantity lang siya. Pero, as nang tumagal-tagal, nagkaroon na tayo ng mixed method, nagkaroon na ng developmental, then, descriptive nowadays is also considered as part of the qualitative approach. Then, meron tayong thematic analysis or approach. Thematic analysis or approach. Those are the most common sa qualitative. Ito naman yung most common type for quantitative. Pero itong gaya nito ha, descriptive, maraming klase yan. Andyan din yung case study, ganon. Magkakaiba yan. So, you have to read the PowerPoint na nilagay ko doon kasi dinidescribe ko isa-isa yan just in case lang na you wanted to use that. Depende sa topic ninyo. Mamaya, gagawa tayo ng isang example. For the mixed method, dalawa yan, explore and explanatory. Ito, long term ito. Ito, short term. It depends upon whether it is convergent or sequential ang gagamitin ninyo. And we also have the embedded and the triangulation. Next natin is the developmental research. Actually, sa part natin, in terms of the developmental research, hindi kasi tayo magsi-system analysis design alone or technology applied method. Dito sa part na to, kung developmental research kayo, then you have to choose whether gagamit kayo ng quasi, gagamit kayo ng full experimental, or gagamit kayo ng descriptive, or mixed method. Mixed method. Mixed method. Yan yung mga different types na gagamitin nyo. Kung ang study ninyo is to develop an app, a website, then you have to choose whether yung kasama ng developmental research design ninyo is with the aid or with the aid of different approaches na ito. Okay, so kung halimbawa magsa-survey kayo, tapos alamin nyo lang yung level of acceptability nila, then that is a descriptive method. Ngayon, if magde-develop kayo, pero yung dinevelop nyo, iti-test ninyo whether it is effective or not, then full experimental yun. Ang method na gagamitin ninyo. Ngayon, ang gagawin nyo naman is identify ninyo kung ano yung mga needs analysis. Alam mo, nag-identify ng needs analysis. Magkakaroon kayo ng level of acceptability. Then, later on, you wanted to know if some of your classmates gusto nyo malaman kung effective siya or not sa at least 10 classmates ninyo, then it will be a quasi. Pero kung ang gagawin nyo lang is identify the needs, discuss ninyo lang the features, and you just identify the level of acceptability, then developmental research with the aid of descriptive approach. Yun nga lang, identify nyo what descriptive approach yan. Ngayon, kung magsisurvey kayo, gagamitan nyo ng qualitative like interview, then after that, gagamitan nyo rin siya ng questionnaire, then mixed method siya. Okay? So, yun yung 4 na pwede nyo magamit under the research design. Okay? So, any clarification about this matter? Kung ano yung gagamitin nyo sa design na yan? To give you an example, kung wala na kayong question, then let's move on dun sa example ng basic and some part. Like, for example, dito, basic research ito. Tan natin ang chapter 3 niya. Ayun. Yan, ganyan lang siya. Ang sa kanya kasi is a correlational research design. Hindi na niya ginamitan pa ng any approaches kasi mainly the researcher use the correlational research design. Actually, sa correlational research design, there is no specific approaches but it is under a quantitative research kasi siya. That's why ganyan lang niya pinresent. Okay, so as you have to identify what kind of design and approaches are you going to use in order for what? To know what? Diba? Then, dito may mali siya dito eh. Anyways, ito naman, hindi to yung final paper nila. Instead of using the quantitative, may mali siya dito eh. Dapat ito, this study will utilize a quantitative research design aided with correlational research approach. Tapos, this method yan, ano nyo na kaagad yan, i-define nyo na kaagad siya. Define nyo what is all about correlational research design. Si correlational research design kasi, it is a cause and effect relationship. It is about knowing the effect behind, knowing the cause behind effect. Yun yung si correlational. Okay, then you have to explain lang why did you use this specific research design. So, ganyan lang siya kasimple. Okay? Next natin for the, ito, tignan natin kung tama yung ginawa niyo. This is chapter 4 na siya. Yan. Ang research design na ginamit niya is developmental research. Yan. So, developmental research, dinefine niya. Then, nilagay niya ang reason why they wanted to use developmental research in the specific study. Then, also, discuss further about what is the role and process and objective of developmental research, as well as correlating that specific information sa kanilang study. So, ganyan lang din lang siya. Medyo mahaba-haba. Do not use we ha. The researchers, ganon. Okay? Tapos, discuss nyo rin anong klaseng methodology ang gagamitin ninyo. Is it waterfall methodology, lalo na pag developmental research kayo, or yung iba pang agile methodology or waterfall. Pero, pagdating sa ganyan, ang mostly ginagamit nila waterfall. Kasi yung waterfall, pag nagka-problema, pwede mo pang balikan. Si agile kasi hindi na. For long term yon, while si waterfall is short term siya. Okay, so, ganito lang siya kasimple. Just in case lang na hindi nyo ma-catch up, then, yun, i-review nyo lang to, i-upload ko naman ito. Then, or visit the office at hiram kayo ng mga books kay Ma'am Chanel. Okay, so let's go back dito. Kung qualitative kayo, ano yun, pag-aaralan nyo ba isang tao? Just in case, pag-aaralan nyo isang tao, you have to get the history or case file niya. Then afterwards, magkakaroon kayo ng in-depth observation by going to the place para ma-observe nyo mabuti yung taong involved. For example, case study of students undergoing problems kasi mababa ang grades niya. So, kukunin nyo, sino specific estudyante na yon. Then, from that specific students, you will be setting time para mabisita sila, ma-interview sila, ma-observe yung everyday needs nila. Okay? Itong phenomenological approach naman, Actually, ano to eh, it's a combination, pwedeng gawin nilang descriptive phenomenological approach. Pwede yon. Kasi phenomenological approach naman, you can do that by observing the participants sa malayo o kaya magbigay kayo ng questionnaire sa kanya, mga ganon. So, pinagsasama-sama yan. Actually, when we talk about the method, it means it is a strategy. When we talk about the research design, it is the plan. So, kung ang plan mo is to have a qualitative research, ito, pwede natin pagsamasamahin tong different, types of, ito mga to. Pwede nyo pagsamasamahin yan kung sa tingin ninyo, applicable dun sa study nyo. Halimbawa, ang gagawin nyo is i-observe nyo siya sa malayo. Halimbawa, nagpa-fly na sila, hindi naman kayo pwedeng sumama, pero i-observe ninyo how they behave, going to the aeroplano, mga ganon. Or, mag-i-interview kayo sa kanila, or magkakaroon kayo ng thematic approach. Kasi most of the time, sa qualitative natin, may thematic approach yan. So, pwedeng pagsamahin mo yung tatlong methodology. Ang tawag dito, yan yung approach or methodology. Yan yung methods or strategies. Okay? Ito yung plan, yung design, plan. Okay? Plano mo na mag-conduct ng qualitative, paano mo gagawin? Ano mga strategies? Ito yon. Okay? So, ang gusto nyo is to discuss lang the experiences and daily life of a female pilot at gusto mo narrative lang, narrative din lang. Ang ethnography kasi parang you're observing a culture. So, in order for you to observe the culture, you have to be one of them. Parang, for example, you want to experience or you have to understand or you want to understand the culture of the Aitas or mga Mangyan. You will be immersing in the place within 1 to 2 months for you to experience kung ano ba talaga yung mayroon doon. So, ganun yung ethnography. It rooted from anthropology kasi yan. Okay? So, for the qualitative naman, quantitative na part, sa quantitative, meron tayong descriptive, cross-sectional, full experimental. Dito sa descriptive, it describe what is prevalent. So, ibig sabihin, the prevalent at the time of your survey is your title. Kung ang gusto mong malaman is the level of awareness of the flight instructors sa behavior ng kanilang mga estudyante, then that is what we call it describes what is the existing phenomenon or what is prevalent. Kasi, yun yung gusto nyong malaman. Dito sa cross-sectional kasi, ang cross-sectional, you are going to conduct a survey sa isang malaking community, one time, big time. Kumbaga, okay, we will be visiting 5 barangays in 1 week. So, 5 barangays, so Monday to Friday lang i-allocate nyo doon. At the time na pumunta kayo doon sa barangay number 1 ng Monday, whoever among the prospective respondents responded in your call or dun sa survey niyo, yun lang yung kukunin yung respondents nyo doon. O kaya kung hindi man kayo mag-distribute, at least at the time of survey na pumunta kayo doon to identify the respondents ng study ninyo, halimbawa, out of mga mothers in the community, sa barangay 1, sa dami nila, 5 lang ang nag-participate. Dun sa barangay 2, 5, 3, 4, 5, tig sa 10. So, cross-sectional yon. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya, hindi siya napopostpone kung kailan nyo gustong At the time of survey lang siya, kung kailan kailangan yung data, yun yung sa cross-sectional. Parang one snapshot, halimbawa, nakita nyo siya, buo, ang dami nila. Kayo na yung pipili o sino yung mag-ano dyan. It's either they volunteer or you will be the one to choose among your respondents based on the criteria set by the researchers. Kung ang criteria ninyo young mothers, then young mothers ang pipiliin nyo. Yun yung cross-sectional. It's about snapshot wherein from that particular snapshot or picture of that community, you will be the one to choose your respondents or kung sino yung mag-volunteer provided that pasok sila dun sa criteria na sinet mo for that particular group of respondents. Ito naman, si full experimental tsaka si quasi, actually, ginagamit ito for, it's either developmental or mag-experiment kayo ng something. Basta tandaan ninyo, pag full experimental yan, ang tawag sa mga respondents ninyo, hindi respondents, it's research subject kasi they will be the one to, who will be the one to, who will participate in that particular experiment, or they will be the one manipulated by the researchers or controlled by the researchers, but they are chosen randomly. So, for example, ang study ninyo is, like for example, si Banana Sap. Si Banana Sap kasi, hindi siya nag-involve ng tao. Pero nag-involve lang siya ng research subject niya who will try yung kanilang experimental. So, kung sino yung nag-try ng experimental nila, manipulated by the researchers. Kasi pag full experimental, tatlong qualities lang ang papasok dyan. Controlled, manipulation, and randomization. So, pag sinabing controlled, kung sino lang yung group of respondents na pwede yung potential na maging research subject. Manipulation is about the increase of the level or volume of your experimented item. For example nga, yung, gamot, ipapainom nyo sa mga tao, so yun yung controlled. Yung gamot na yon, imamanipulate nyo yan by treatment 1, for example, sa treatment 1, 20% lang or 20 ml lang yung gamot na na-discover nyo. Tapos sa next trial, within that particular controlled respondents pa rin, sila rin yung iinom, in-increase nyo naman or manipulate ninyo yung volume of the gamot na ipapainom nyo sa kanila. Gagawin yung 40, ganon. Hanggang sa ma-reach nyo yung tina-target nyong result of your study. For the randomization naman, since controlled nyo ang mga respondents nyo, for example, AMT ang gusto nyo maging respondents alone, first year ang gusto nyo maging respondents, and from there, randomly, you will be picking your research subject. Kaya tatlo siya for the full experimental. Dito sa full experimental kasi, hindi mo kailangan dyan ng questionnaire kasi you will be dealing with the result. Although, gagawa kayo ng checklist survey para malaman ninyo yung mean result ng experimental ninyo. Dito sa quasi, it's a combination of a descriptive, it's a combination of descriptive and experimental. Yun yung quasi. Kasi una, you have to identify muna that the needs analysis, tapos pangalawa is the feature of your proposed experimentation na gagawin. Then, aalamin nyo later on, ito pwedeng, dito yung experimentation, ito yung needs analysis, then dito nyo aalamin yung effectiveness. Yun yung sa quasi. Kanina, pinakita ko rin sa inyo what is correlational. Correlational is about looking for the cause behind effect. So, it's purely with the use of different correlational statistical tool like Pearson, multi-regression, mga ganon. Factor analysis, time series, mga ganon. So, dito papasok yung correlational. Okay? Sa mixed method naman, kung sakali ang study ninyo is sa mixed method, dalawa lang ang pagpipilian nyo dyan. Actually, ang most common na ginagamit dyan at pinapagamit ko rin is yung sequential. Yan, sequential. So, for that sequential, ang ginagamit talaga nila lagi is the sequential exploratory and the sequential explanatory. Ang keyword nyo dyan, anak, pag sinabi nating exploratory, quali first, tapos quanti. Dito naman, quanti bago quali. Yun yung difference ng dalawa. Paano gawin ang exploratory? Just in case lang na you are going to conduct a study, tapos wala kayo makitang research questionnaire online, or mayroon man kayong makita pero hindi siya applicable or suited sa respondents ninyo. Since aviation tayo, hindi masyadong kukunti lang yung study in relation to aviation. So parang kung sakali lang na you wanted to know a particular problem within the community or within WCC-ATC, ang gagawin mo nun, magkakandak kayo ng interview among, halimbawa, for example, flight instructors. Gusto nyo malaman yung mga problems. Tapos, from that particular problems identified by the flight instructors, that will be the data you will use in constructing your quantitative checklist questionnaire. Yun yung sa exploratory. Mauuna ang quali bago ang quanti. Now, pagdating naman sa chapter 4 on how you present the data, ang mangyayari dyan, i-explain nyo pa rin yung mismong result lang ng questionnaire ninyo, followed by or supported by the different interview gathered previously bago kayo nakabuo ng questionnaire. Yun yung exploratory research design. When we talk about naman sa explanatory research design, gagawa kayo dyan ng quanti na questionnaire, quali na questionnaire, tapos sequence. Ikakandak nyo yan sa group of respondents na sasagot ng survey, tapos magkakandak kayo ng focus group or interview doon sa quali respondents ninyo. Then, pag nagawa nyo na yun, pag ipipresent nyo na sa thesis, mauuna yung, ang i-discuss ninyo sa table, yung quanti. Tapos, pag na-discuss nyo na yung quanti, susuportahan nyo bakit ito ang mataas based on the quanti result, then susuportahan nyo siya ng explanation ng quali or interview na nakandak ninyo. Yun yung difference nung dalawa. Hindi ko masyadong pinapagamit si convergent parallel kasi you don't have enough time. So, ito ang medyo mas less time for you para makandak nyo yan. Ang exploratory kasi medyo mahabang time ang kailangan. While si explanatory naman is hindi naman mahabang time ang kailangan. So, just in case lang na gusto nyo magkaroon ng bearing yung study ninyo, tapos talagang highly competitive yung magiging result ng study niyo, you have to siguro choose between exploratory and explanatory. Okay? Okay. Since walang nagtatanong sa inyo baala kayo dyan. Yung maintindihan to. Okay? So, next natin, hindi ko pinapagamit masyado itong embedded tsaka triangulation, pero explain ko lang, just in case, si embedded kasi, mag-interview ka ng quali, mag-distribute ka ng questionnaire, quanti, tapos, the result of the two, ipipresent nyo sa thesis nyo as one. We cannot detect whether you conducted a quali on this part and quanti on this part. Yun yung sa embedded. Sa triangulation naman, magkakaroon ka ng quanti, quali, quanti. Parang pinagsabay mo yung exploratory, tapos explanatory. Both of them, nung pinagsama mo siya, magkakaroon ka ng one new result. Madidetermine mo naman dito sa triangulation saan nanggaling yung mga responses, unlike ka-embedded. Just in case lang na gusto nyong gawin yon. Okay, ito naman, majority since application tayo, ang mangyayari dyan, developmental research, and choose between these different methodologies. It's either a combination of descriptive and quasi. Yung pinakita ko sa inyo kanina na example na itong kay Coronia, quasi and descriptive siya. May mga nagkakandak din ng full experimental, bihira ang mixed method. Pero ginagamit din nila yan. Ang most of the researches natin is the combination of descriptive and quasi-experimental methodology. Okay? Research design pa lang yun mga anak. So, any question before I proceed? Clarification? Kasi nakita ko dun sa halos walang nagpunta sa akin, ilan. Actually, isa lang. Isang group lang. Kaya, tingnan ko na mabuti yung kanilang result. Okay, you have any other queries? Concern? May concern ba tayo? Ang dami nyo. Hindi ko alam kung may kausap ako. Okay, so, bahala kayo Explain ko lang to. Kung walang question, then, let's proceed dun sa next. Itong mga next na madali na siya kasi dun lang part medyo mahirap. Dito, meron kayong, explain nyo lang din, meron kayong primary data, secondary data. Dito sa primary data, yan yung mga respondents ninyo. Saan galing yung first, kasi ang primary data, first-hand information from your respondents. Ang secondary data, explain nyo lang that you will be having the responses of your respondents dun sa primary data, kung sino yung mga respondents ninyo. Sa secondary data naman, it's either from the articles, researches, journal, published and unpublished researches. Okay, so those are the secondary data. You just explain it kung saan nanggaling. Tingnan natin kay Lumantas, paano nila din ginawa. Dinefine niya, pero no need for you to define. You just discuss lang who will be the primary. Yeah. Secondary. Ganyan lang siya. Kasimple. Okay? Next is for the population of the study. For the population of the study, unahin niyo muna ang lokal. Ang lokal ninyo, di ba, majority of sa inyo, WCC-ATC. Why? Explain why. Tapos, next natin is the population. Okay, the difference ng explanation under chapter 3 ng population of the study, tsaka sa scope and delimitation, dito kasi, i-explain nyo who are your respondents. Tapos, criteria in choosing the respondents. Tapos, dito na rin papasok yung sampling use. Applicable yan sa lahat qualitative, quantitative, developmental research. So, ganyan lang siya kasimple for the population and local of the study. Unahin nyo lagi ang local. You may provide map, vicinity map. Tapos, under the population naman, who are your respondents? Ano, the respondents of the study, ganyan. Parang ganito lang siya. Explain lang niya. Tapos kung anong sampling ang gagamitin niya. Okay? For the research instrument, ito naman, discuss the different part. Discuss the different parts of the instrument. Halimbawa, meron kayong instrument na dalawa. The researchers will use two types of instrument or two sets of instruments. One set, the first set will be used for identifying the needs analysis, blah, blah, blah. It has two parts. So, part 1 will deal with ganito. Second part will deal with ganito. Okay? Tapos, the first set of instrument will be tested using the test-retest, kung test-retest man yan, to determine the validity and reliability of the instrument, mga ganon. Then, sa second paragraph, the second set of instrument to be used in the study is the checklist questionnaire based on the ISO standards. Ganon. This instrument was already valid since, hanapin niyo kung ilang beses ginamit yung instrument na yon that made you decide that the particular instrument is valid. Hindi pwedeng sabihin natin na nanggaling sa RPDO. No. You have to search the internet to determine if that particular instrument was already valid. Okay? Yon. So, doon lang ang discussion natin. Kung ilang items, ganon. Dito naman sa validity and reliability, discuss the result of the validity. Validity and reliability tests. Yan. Dito, most of the time na ginagamit dyan is Cronbach alpha. Ginagamit din dyan ang construct, validity, minsan content, validity. Yan yung common na dito na i-discuss natin. Okay? Okay, so discuss the result, blah, blah, blah. Then, ganyan lang siya. I-discuss nyo kung Ginamit nyo ba ang alpha? Ginamit nyo ba o gagamitin nyo ba ang construct and content? Sa akin kasi pinapagamit ko yung dalawa kasi just in case lang na mababa ang result ng content, at least hindi na kayo magre-refloat again for us to determine the validity nito. Tandaan niyo ha, if the instrument is valid, therefore it is reliable. Now, if the instrument is reliable, it doesn't mean that it is valid. Okay? So, I have your paper test through the validity and reliability. For the SPSS niyan tuturuan ko kayo nun after your defense kasi if-finalize nyo pa or turuan ko kayo nun kasi medyo mahaba-haba yung test nun. Pwede naman next week, pwede ko kayong turuan. Hindi pa pala, lapag pa palang kanina. Okay, so pwede ko kayong turuan anytime yan, just in case lang na mayroon na kayong instrument. Kasi I cannot teach the validity and reliability kung hindi pa okay yung instrument ninyo. Now, I am requiring every one of you to prepare the letter. So, nandun sa G Drive lahat ng mga types of letter. Pakitignan na lang yung format doon and gawa na kayo ng letter, and at the same time, i-rush nyo na rin na gawin yung instrument ninyo, but you cannot do your instrument without your statement of the problem. Ngayon, ipapacheck nyo yung statement of the problem ninyo sa mga advisors ninyo para ma-counter-check natin kung tama na siya, then yun na yung gagawin ninyo for the instrument. Usually, ito pala, i-discuss ko to next sem. Kasi, kahit reliable na yung instrument natin, pag ginalaw ng mga external panel natin ang statement of the problem, mababago lahat ito. So, ngayon pa lang, hindi pala next sem, bago magtapos ang sem. Kasi after your defense, all you need to do is to comply all the requirements, the letters, the NDA, the contracts, the instrument. It should be valid and reliable para ready for floating na siya next sem. Kasi we cannot allow you to enroll your thesis 2 if hindi pa okay ang instrument ninyo. Okay? Dito naman, sa data gathering procedure are the step by step procedure kung paano nyo na-gather ang lahat ng data, paano nyo na-gather ang lahat ng respondents, and information sa study ninyo. So, kumbaga ito yung, halimbawa, kayo ng letter, nagpapirma kayo, mga ganun. So, dito lahat nakalagay sa data gathering procedure. For the statistical tools, ito yung medyo mahaba-haba. Tingnan lang tayo ng konti. Okay, paano ko explain ito? Mahaba-haba ito eh. Dito muna. Ito muna si ethical consideration. Answer the 5 or 6 question ata under the REC form. Nandun sa may pinakadulong-dulo yon. 5 or 6 na question yon. Yun lang yung sasagutan nyo dito sa ethical consideration. Statistical, okay. Most common na ginagamit dyan is the frequency and percentage method. Ano pa? Average weighted mean. Sa statistical, sa hypothetical. For hypothetical question naman, questions, ang ginagamit dyan, ANOVA, t-test, z-test, multiple regression, time series, pwede. Ano pa ba? Time series, multiple regression, factorial analysis. Ito mga higher research, advanced statistics na itong tatlo. Pero most of the time ginagamit sa atin. Ito, ANOVA is used to measure yung relationship between means of two groups or two variables. Sa t-test naman, ginagamit yan, actually long-term yan, to test the pre-test and post-test result of your study. Z-test naman, ginagamit siya if your study is, it includes larger population, pero kukunin nyo lang ang specific respondents using the multi-stage. Ito namang multiple regression, ginagamit ito sa higher advanced statistics, whether your study will fully focus on the correlational. Pero may mga study rin naman tayo na ginagamit ang significant relationship, pero ang ginagamit nila dyan is the Pearson correlation coefficient. Dito kasi sa Pearson correlation coefficient, pwedeng ang gamitin mo lang dito, dalawang variable lang. Ito kasi multiple, pwedeng tatlo. Kumbaga, comparing the academic performance of the students as to their study habit, mga ganon, as to their profile, as to their flight performance, SPR, mga ganon. Dito kasi minsan dito sa multiple regression, mayroon dito mga dependent variables na, kumbaga, it cannot be manipulated by the researcher na kino-compare nyo dun sa mga independent variables. Tandaan nyo, ang tinatopic kong independent variables are those we can control as a researcher. Kumbaga, independent variables I control. Like for example, sa profile nila, you can control ano yung specific profile lang ang ilalagay ninyo. Is it only their age, their gender, their year level, or kasama pa bang economic status nila, etc. So, yun yung independent variable. Ito kasi si Pearson, gagamitin mo siya within group kung identify mo lang ang relationship between variables. Ito kasi si regression, it is used actually for a specific variable na dependent tsaka independent. Minumulti-cross mo sila. Itong time series, ginagamit, higher na ito parang trend analysis, longitudinal study, ginagamit yung time series na yan. Ako, ginamit ko yan ngayon sa study ko, yung time series, kasi may minomonitor ako na group of respondents for a year. So, ang ginamit ko dyan is trend study. Si factorial naman, ginamit na ito ngayon ng isang group, isa lang gumamit sa atin na group of students. Ang ginamit niya to determine the content of the questionnaire na no, it's not a question, it's a test na gagamitin for the COMFLY and AOM na mga flight instructor, kasi yung PP1 to PP8 ata yun, wala namang specific tests ata or question na ginagamit, nasa depende na sa flight instructor. So gumawa sila ng standardized, ginamitan nila siya ng factorial. So medyo higher na yan, and sa nakita ko naman sa mga studies ninyo, mostly ang gagamitin nyo lang dyan, frequency, average weighted mean, and ANOVA or Pearson correlation coefficient. So these are the most common na nakita ko based on the titles ninyo. Yan. And Pearson. Ito, pwede nyo itong gamitin kung magkakanda kayo ng pre-test and post-test. T-test ang gamitin ninyo. Any other question? Any question? May question ba kayo? None at the moment. Thank you. Okay, so, Doc, paano namin pipiliin kung applicable ba itong statistical tool na to sa study namin or hindi? Kung ang question ninyo is about, for example, yung questionnaire ninyo, number 1 is profile of the study, age, gender, etc. Hindi ka naman, nominal naman siya kasi, i-check lang nila kung saan sila doon. Di naman nila i-check siya ng naka-Likert scale. So, if that's the case, ang formula for that is ito. Yung questionnaire nyo, like needs analysis, tapos dun sa ISO, they will be rating it according to Likert scale like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then, that is mean, weighted mean. Now, tingnan nyo yung SOP ninyo. Pag may question kayo doon na, is there a significant difference between blah, blah, blah? ANOVA na yon. Pero if ang study ninyo is there a significant difference between post-test and pre-test result? T-test na yon. Pero kung ang study ninyo naman is there a significant relationship between blah, blah, blah? person na yon, or may isa pa, yung chi-square. Yan, yung mga pwede nyong gamitin. Okay? So, I will be uploading my notes regarding sa mga ito isa-isa dun sa either sa LMS ninyo o sa class files. Okay, so kung wala ng question, I think mabubuo nyo na yung chapters 1 to 3 ninyo, but make sure na kung kakayanin natin makapag-pass ng draft within, so wala ko next week, sa kaming, may pupuntan kami, that's the time na pwede nyo i-draft yung chapters 1 to 3 ninyo, ilagay nyo sa G Drive para makatulong ako na maibigay ko yung comments ko. Kung hindi nyo magagawa, walang problema, but you have to consult your advisor. Kasi yung mga comments ko, sa defense na lang. Tandaan ninyo that your defense will comprise of the group grade and the individual grade. Ang group grade ninyo manggagaling sa external panel ninyo and internal panel, while the individual grades manggagaling din sa kanila plus yung grade na manggagaling sa akin. Yes, anak. Malalaman mo kung anong statistical tool ang gagamitin based on the statement of the problem. Gaya na in-explain ko kanina. Okay? So, if wala na tayong question, then